please join me to send a warmest welcome to our first speakers, Dr. Adalberto Noyola from UNAM, Mexico. So now, may I pass the floor to Dr. Adalberto. Dr. Adalberto, would you mind to unmute yourself?
Sorry, I started speaking with my mute. I was saying the good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are connected to this session. Thank you very much, Dr. Chiang, for your moderation, and thank you very much also to the Hong Kong Baptist University for providing us the opportunity to present this work. I will share my screen right now. Let me see if you can see it. Okay, and in this time, we are going to present an experience we had just recently, the last semester, beginning of this year, at UNAM, working in the concept of global hybrid classroom. I will explain a little bit in which it consists. And my colleagues are present. We are Guadalupe Vadillo, Teresa Gonzalez, and myself, Adalberto Noyola, all faculty members at the National Autonomous University of Mexico. First, as a context, we should say that this work is based on the leadership of the Global MOOC and Online Education Alliance. This is a global initiative led by Tsinghua University in China that was launched in 2020. 16 universities are part of it, and 7 online learning institutes in the 5 continents. The UNAM, our university, became member in 2023. What we are going to talk about is the concept of global hybrid classroom. This initiative aims to open classrooms, conventional classrooms, through a global hybrid model where students can take classes online and in real time with the in-presence students. And these courses are offered by member universities in exchange for academic credits, either with or without institutional agreements. In fact, being member of the alliance means you have an agreement between the universities. The concrete experience was developed in early this year in the semester that we call 2025-2. It ran from January to June. In this experience, our students engaged in 16 courses global hybrid classroom courses offered by Tsinghua University and 7 courses by St. Petersburg University in Russia. We call for interested students, and almost 300 of them reacted. Then 111 actually got registered, and the universities Tsinghua and St. Petersburg accepted 49 of them. And the courses, in fact, the courses registration was 58. It means that several students took more than one course. First, let me present a short, only one slide of the size of UNAM and why it is important to develop this kind of internationalization approaches. We are a very big university considering the number of students. We have 373,000 students, 51% women, 49% men. And you see at your right hand how they are distributed. UNAM has an important high school system with a little bbit more than 100,000 students. And then undergraduate students are around 230,000 students, and postgraduate a little bit more than 30,000. In the efforts of UNAM for providing international mobility opportunities are limited by the budget, of course, and only around 0.7 students of those 370,000 really have the opportunity to do a physical mobility, international mobility. So something has to be done in order to provide opportunities, international opportunities for more students. And that's what I'm going to present in these slides. First, we made a call for interest students. We published this in the social media and our own newsletters at UNAM in Spanish. It is written in Spanish, as you see, and this was focused, the slide that I'm presenting, to the Tsinghua courses. I want to show here only the scientific matter concert on sciences, as you see the list there. And also, I want to highlight one problem that we will talk about this a little bit later, is the timing zone, quite different hours for online real-time course. You see here the students at UNAM should connect at midnight or around very early morning. So that's a problem when you consider China and Mexico having 14 hours difference. Okay, then let me see. So we did two surveys. Let me see if this, yes, two surveys, one at midterm and the last one at the end of the semester, with those 49 students as that I mentioned. In the first survey, 20 of them answered, and in the final survey, 28 of them participated. Just for your information, this was the courses taken by the 49 students, the biggest part from Tsinghua University, 16 of them, and 7 from St. Petersburg University, and the numbers of students in the last column. As I mentioned, 49 students, 23 courses, 48 registrations, meaning that several students took more than one course. So what the results, the main results of the survey, there are several other answers, but I will focus on the main one. More than 2/3, 70 and 71% in the second survey thought or communicate a high or very high satisfaction. This is a high proportion, and a lot of students, a high proportion of them, were determined to repeat the experience in the next semester. Also, we gather the opinions, like the pros and cons of that experience. And they were also very unanimous in the opinion. Students were satisfied by the level of the teacher, I mean, the presentation and the learning materials, and the main problem was related to the synchronization that I mentioned, with 14 hours of difference with China is quite complicated. But also very important is that some of our virtual students did not feel included as part of the class, really. So it is a major issue that should be regarded or considered in order to enhance this experience. So what we identify some tasks if we want to get a better success for this experience. First of all, and very important, developing a sense of belonging of those virtual students to the hybrid classroom. This needs engagement from the hosting and invited universities to prepare the students for the experience, to organize an ice-breaking session maybe at the beginning, so the in-presence and virtual students may get some kind of acquaintance, and also facilitate the virtual student engagement, do some monitoring even if this engagement and participation from the virtual students is taking place. Then we also minimize the challenge posed by virtual presence and different time zones. It will require specific adjustments to the regular course program. So the teacher should make some arrangements so it may provide a better environment for those virtual students. And of course, gathering experiences, accumulated experiences during the time will provide or prepare a best practice manual that will be a very valuable resource for new teachers willing to engage in this kind of experience. Okay. So before going to the final comments, we should say that UNAM now will offer to those 16 universities members of the Global MOOC Alliance 6 courses that are adapted now to the global hybrid classroom concept. And these are, as you see, the school and the program: psychology, design, economics, management, engineering, and nursing. And the course name, 6 of them that we will provide beginning September, next September, trying to attract students from the 16 universities members of the Alliance. So just going to the end of my talk, some final thoughts. First of all, global hybrid classroom provides internationalization experiences to students without the financial requirements of physical mobility, a very important aspect for a massive universities such as UNAM with 370,000 students. We should provide different means for taking internationalization opportunities to students, and this is just one of the several others that are considered at UNAM. Global hybrid classroom also motivated educators that had not previously considered integrating experiences in their courses. They are now motivated to consider innovative approaches and renew engagement in their technical practice. So this is also a win-win situation. Let me see. This last slide, a major challenge is to integrate in-presence and virtual students from different countries and time zones. This is a really important issue. Sharing experience among teachers will be a valuable resource in the future. So gathering best practices, so other teachers may use them. And finally, regular courses will require adjustments and innovative activities to produce successful global hybrid classrooms. This is a rewarding challenge that may benefit all participants, teachers and students. Just to finish, we considered at UNAM after this experience that global hybrid classroom is a viable option for internationalization in higher education. And with this, I thank you very much for your attention. And on behalf of my co-authors, I thank you for your attendance. And if there are any questions and time, I will gladly answer them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Adalberto Noyola, for the insightful talk. And we will leave the Q&A session at the back. So
Okay.
please keep your questions now if you have any. Okay, so now may we invite Dr. Maysa Abuzant from the NEHAR National University, Palestine, to share the topic.
Yes, hi everyone. I'm so happy and honored to be here with you. I just will need 1 second to share my presentation. Okay, so hi everyone, and good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Me and my team, we are honored to be here today to present our joint case study with the Amsterdam University of Applied Sciences. Our presentation is titled From Palestine to the Netherlands, a Just Model for Virtual Exchange Learning. It explores a collaborative virtual exchange between my university and NEHAR National University in Palestine and the Amsterdam University of Applied Sciences in the Netherlands. Okay, so this collaboration is very dear to my heart. It's a case study of a virtual exchange course, and this collaboration would not have been a success without the help and the hard work of our team. These are the team that worked on this project. We have myself, Maysa Abuzant, then we have Dr. Eva, we have Dr. Abdelkarim, and we have Adalberto from NEHAR University. I want to emphasize here that one of the things that made this collaboration so impactful was the diversity within our team, because we came together from having different academic, cultural, and institutional backgrounds, and each of us brought a unique perspective to the table. So this diversity has helped us to navigate and create a course, a virtual exchange course that was meaningful for us and for our students. Okay, our project was inspired by this quote: intercultural learning must address not only diversity, but also justice and history. This quote actually captures the foundation of our work. Our work tries to move beyond the surface level of exchanges towards a more deeper, justice-oriented collaboration, which we will explain in the later slides. I want to start by giving a short introduction on our background, on what sparked our collaboration and what is meant by the North-South Academic Partnership and some of the controversy on that matter. It has been widely established in research that in North-South Academic Partnership, there is a sort of imbalance. This imbalance arises from many things, part of which is, for example, the funding and agenda setting is mostly from institutions in the North. So this makes the institutions in the North more dominant over any partnership that happens between the North or the South. Also, there is an imbalance in the knowledge production and recognitions, as in some cases, scholars from the South may do much of the field work or data collection, but they receive less credit. It applies the same for virtual exchanges, as in some cases or in some collaborations between the North and the South, sometimes the students in the South, they act more like subjects to students from the North in those collaborations. Other assumptions, they revolve around superiority. There can be an implicit assumption that the North is more developed or objective or scientific or whatever, which positions the South as passive recipients, as I've mentioned earlier. This is why our course came to challenge these dynamics, the already existing dynamics. How did we do that? We did that by co-designing the course equally between NEHAR University and Amsterdam University of Applied Sciences. We've also aimed to center local voices and challenges from both Palestine and the Netherlands, so they were both the focus of the course, and we've tried to create a space for students to reflect on identity history and power rather than simply to exchange surface-level cultural facts. Some of the research questions we've aimed to look at in our quest, these are some of them. How can virtual exchange reframe traditional North-South academic partnership? What ways does injustice-oriented design foster global citizenship and intercultural competence? And what are the implications of equitable curriculum co-creation for students' learning and institutional collaborations? For this slide, I'm going to leave you with my dear colleague, Dr. Eva, to explain to you on the course design and the intentions. Eva?
Can you hear me now? Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. So thank you, Maysa. It's been such an honor to do this project with you and your team, and I wish we could meet in person. Maysa and I have not yet met in person, but I hope that will happen at some point. So as she was so eloquently explaining already, so this project was co-developed, but I have to admit that we leaned quite heavily on Maysa's, but also her institution's experience with the intercultural dialogue and virtual exchange. In fact, their students, Anaja's students, volunteered as moderators in the conversations that we organized between our students. So we developed this project together, looking at what kind of question could students work on simultaneously in the Netherlands, in their local communities, and in Palestine, in their local communities. It was really centered on the Sustainable Development Goals through local and global challenges. So we started with the local, well, actually we had to start with what are those Sustainable Development Goals, because not all students are equally knowledgeable. And then we invited them to look at what kind of challenges can you identify within your communities, and do you see any similarities between the communities. So this was very challenging for the students, because the problems that we face in the local communities in the Netherlands are, if you want, I don't like the term, but first world problems. And the situation in Palestine was much more complex. So sometimes students had to imagine a better future for Palestine in order to think of solutions that might work, because in the current situation it was very hard to imagine how they could impact. But they tried, so we really tried to motivate them to think on a micro level. What do you see, and what could you impact, and how could that have an impact in both localities? So what similarities and what differences do you see? But really also focusing on the differences and acknowledging the differences and the inequity that might exist, but at the same time strengthening the friendships and the teamwork within those students. So they were equal partners in all of this, but identifying the differences and the challenges that they faced within their communities. I think with that, I'd like to hand over back to Maysa. Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. This was brilliant. So thank you. I'd like to stress some of the points mentioned by my dear colleague, that some of the key course features that we aimed or we tried to focus on were that we had weekly online dialogue in mixed groups between our students and Amsterdam University of Applied Sciences students. We had students working on projects related to SDG topics that were rooted in local community challenges, and we had facilitated reflections on power, identity, and positionality. Here, I'd like to stress that, and this is something that Eva has already mentioned, mentioned that one of the key strategies that we used to develop and co-design this course was to rely on the intercultural dialogue for virtual exchange that was developed by Al-Najah University based on several years of experience working on virtual exchange. The framework aims to engage students in the best way possible. It's through activities, synchronous and asynchronous activities in virtual exchange to arrive to the best results possible for both the students and the instructors, and to ensure that all students from the South and the North, they work equally, and to develop what was mentioned earlier in the keynote speech for today's meeting, today's conference about the global citizens, for our students to actually develop some of the skills that are needed for them to be global citizens and to function in this world. The methodology we've used was a qualitative case study because this is very intimate for students. We had them engage, talk to each other. They had weekly asynchronous activities. So we wanted to get to know their thoughts and ideas a little bit better. So qualitative was the best case or the best thing we could use. And we've used key informant interviews, students' reflection papers, and final reports. For our students' outcome, we've had many outcomes that came out of the students' reflections. Students developed critical global awareness. They recognized their own positionalities and global interdependencies. This was very important for students in Palestine, because for students in Palestine living under occupation, for them to see that other students are going through the same like daily small struggles that they're dealing with, and to see that there is so much similarities and differences at the same time, but still they could work together and achieve a project at the end as a mixed group. This was very important. Students really enjoyed the group work, as you can see from their quotations. I'm going to leave it to my colleague Eva to talk about Amsterdam students.
Thank you. I hope you can hear me fine now. Yes. What I've never before experienced, and I've been doing COIL for over 10 years, COIL Virtual Exchange, but never before have students introduced their family members to their COIL partners. This project was so impactful. Our students were so engaged, and yes, it was challenging. It was frustrating at times to get the communication right, because, for example, our Friday is a working day, whereas in Palestine it was not. It was a day, it was a weekend already. And so there were lots of things that we had to negotiate, but there was a willingness to communicate, a willingness to understand and listen. And there was such respect and safety. The intention of these excellently facilitated cultural dialogues that we organized created a safe space to be different and to find similarities and to express vulnerabilities. And this created, for me, unseen before bond and friendship between students. So our final meeting, as it were, when we said our goodbyes, was almost emotional, because the students became friends across so many differences and challenges. And I have seen a lot of friendships across screens, but not to this extent, because I think they felt heard and seen, all of them. It was very impactful. So I'm so grateful to Anaja and Maysa in particular for making possible this collaboration. And I hand over to Maysa for the final words. Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. That was, and that covered everything that I wanted to mention as well. That brings us to the end of our presentation. So if you have any questions, please, we're happy to answer your questions at the end of this session, or you can email us at our emails. Thank you so much.
So thank you very much for the inspiring presentation. So, may I now welcome Dr. Christine Ferrer from Commission on Higher Education, Philippines, to present her work.
Thank you and good evening, everyone. I am Christine Ferrer, the Director of CHED Regional Office 1. And my presentation is about integrating global citizenship education in Region 1 Philippine higher education institutions, challenges, opportunities, and curriculum transformation. Only 22.2% of our higher education institutions in Region 1 have a formal GCE definition. And that means nearly 4 in 5 institutions lack a shared language for preparing our graduates to engage with global issues. And this gap threatens both our local communities and national competitiveness in an interconnected world. Over the next minutes, I will share our mixed methods findings, ground them in global theory, and propose an action roadmap for Region 1. So let's begin. UNESCO's 2015 framework defines global citizenship education across 3 domains: cognitive, that's understanding global issues and interdependence; socio-emotional, cultivating empathy, solidarity, respect for diversity; behavioral, taking responsible action locally and globally. Davis and others confirm that employers value graduates with this holistic skill set. In Region 1 Philippines, we rely on OFW remittances, agro exports, and face climate-driven vulnerabilities. Global citizenship education equips our students to navigate these realities with global insight, enhancing both local resilience and international engagement. This dual impact makes GCED indispensable. And to understand our starting point, we surveyed higher education institution leaders across Region 1 Philippines. We adopted Creswell's convergent mixed methods design to ensure rich, triangulated insights. Guided by Oxley and Morris' GCE typology, we ask, how embedded is GCE in institutional plans and structures? To what extent does the curriculum integrate GCE principles? What barriers and opportunities shape implementation? Our objective is to develop a data-driven, locally adapted framework and strategy that CHED Regional Office 1 and higher education institutions can co-create to transform curricula and build truly global citizens. While national policies on GCE abound, sub-regional practices in the Philippines remain underexplored. Andreotti warns against soft GCE, which is mere tolerance, versus critical GCE that challenges power structures. Bosho and Torres' three-piece model urges us to anchor GCE in peace, people, and planet. Our study fills the gap by examining how Region 1 higher education institutions enact a critical GCE approach grounded in local context rather than simply importing Western models. We surveyed 27 faculty and administrators, 74% from public higher education institutions. We call these state universities and colleges or local universities and colleges, and 18% from private higher education institutions across the 4 provinces in the region: Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, La Union, and Pangasinan. Scott's institutional survey emphasizes the need to formal structures to legitimize new practices. Rhodes and Shaleni argued that universities must embed GCE at the governance level to develop social justice, yet less than a quarter of our HEIs have formal GCE definitions and lack on what clarity means. Over half also mention their GCE in their strategic plans, but that does not guarantee translating that into funding. 44.4% rate the integration as significant or full, and infusion models are seen in business, education, nursing business, and general education. Corona differentiates between infusion embedding themes across courses and standalone GCE modules. Davis and others call for explicit learning outcomes to anchor curricula. Our survey reveals infusion is more common. Education programs embed intercultural pedagogy. Nursing adds transnational nursing. Business emphasizes sustainability case studies. And general education courses like Contemporary World serves as critical touch points. Yet, nearly 30% report only slight or no integration, signaling uneven adoption. But curriculum design is only half of the story. Pedagogy and assessment matter too. So you can see here the results of our pedagogy and assessment surveys, wherein Andreotti champions problem posing pedagogy, critical reflection on power over banking methods. Hunter highlights international service learning as transformative, and the data shows discussions lead fostering critical dialogue on social issues, but only 44% engage in um, service learning of faculty and hands-on community projects. Assessment focus on presentations and projects which align with experiential models and allow students to demonstrate applied knowledge but lack standardized rubrics. Fewer than 1 in 4 use portfolios for ongoing reflection, limiting the capture of socio-emotional growth. Um, may we also know which method resonates most with your practice. In terms of faculty perspectives, Lee critiques existing assessment for global citizenship as fragmented, while Kennedy argues for multi-level indicators covering knowledge, attitudes, and behaviors. The study confirms the gap. While 40% use tracer studies and 30% use pre-post SDJ surveys, the majority lack formal longitudinal tools. And this absence hinders um, evidence-based advocacy and funding, making it difficult to prove GSED's return on investment. These gaps surface as both challenges and opportunities when we look across the region. Shaw highlights the cultural factors that can impede GCE in Asian contexts, while Xing points to institutional networks and policy levers as powerful enablers. In Region 1, funding shortages and overloaded curricula constrain innovation, yet near universal interest in partnerships and strong policy support always present clear pathways. By directing resources into collaborative networks and our initiatives, we can leverage these opportunities to overcome the structural barriers. Based on these insights, we then propose 5 strategic recommendations. But before that, as I present to you these challenges versus opportunities for our regional GCE framework, um, these are the perceived challenges. Um, our concern is, of course, one on funding. We also have curriculum constraints and faculty buy-in, but we have a good opportunities on partnerships, innovative programs, and policy support. For the strategic recommendations, we want to establish a regional task force with higher education institution representatives and Schedule 1 officials, and to co-create frameworks with some voluntary institutions. For our medium-term plan, we will be launching faculty training series and peer learning networks, and we will have to establish or conduct virtual exchange models virtual exchange modules connecting Region 1 higher education institution students to our ASEAN peers through the collaborative online international learning. And for our long-term approach, we will be monitoring through tracer studies and SDJ surveys and refine this framework and scale best practices to all higher education institutions in Region 1. So this phased approach adheres to Cotter's change management principles and leverages Venture's peer learning networks to sustain momentum beyond initial phases. We will also collect data from each phase, which will inform our adjustments for the next. And with this, we would also want to see these strategic recommendations, such as the co-drafting of a regional GCE framework as we co-create clear guidelines and definitions, um, faculty capacity building through regular workshops, online communities, and peer mentoring to elevate the expertise of our faculty and our staff. We'll be having GCE focal teams appoint champions in each higher education institution to coordinate planning, sharing of resources, and to sustain momentum. We also have co-curricular integration by embedding GCE in in-service learning internships and virtual exchange programs to reinforce classroom learning. In terms of funding mobilization, we will pursue grants from our own agency, from LGUs, from non-government organizations, and international agencies to have minimal funding of our advocacy and interventions program. So this feed into a clear implementation and roadmap. So I invite you to partner with us and shape our collective framework. And also to share institutions' strategy to us. So we can co-author a framework together and equip our graduates to transform both our local communities and the wider world. Thank you very much, and I'd love to hear your questions and insights later. That ends my presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Christine, for the exciting highlight. And we will keep the Q&A session at the after the Professor Benameur's presentations. So now may I invite Professor Benameur NEHAR from the University of Albert Becky Balkate from Algeria. So may I have Professor Benameur to present his work.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry, just 1 minute, please.
Sorry, we cannot hear you clearly.
Are you hearing me now?
It's good now.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So I have now to share my screen. Is it display now? Okay, is it display?
So if you're okay, so please start. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, thank you very much for inviting us to attend this interesting event about global virtual exchange. So me and my team, okay, we are pleased to be here and to present our experience through the virtual exchange in higher education. So we are a team of teachers engaged in virtual exchange within the field of education in different universities. So our collaboration began when we came together, each hailing from different backgrounds and countries. We have Professor Tara Maintain from the University of Florida, Professor Luciana Calvo from the University of Brazil, Professor Lynn Hertel from Penn State, USA, Professor Mariana Veneva from the north of Macedonia, and me, NEHAR Benameur, from the University of Tlemcen in Algeria. So, despite our culture differences, our field of research and varying time zone, we have worked together for nearly some years. Today, we want to share our collaborative journey and the incredible benefits of stepping outside of our comfort zone to connect with individuals who share our interest, motivation, and goals. I just want to remind our title for this presentation is Virtual Exchange for Enhancing Intercultural Competences and Global Awareness. So this map highlights our various locations and countries. So though we may be far apart, we strive to bridge that distance through our participation in different virtual exchange programs, aiming to create a positive impact in our communities. So why do we do this? Because it's wonderful and inspiring. So, and it's offer us a transformative experience that enriches our lives. As you can see here, this photo you see reflect the warm atmosphere of our online meetings and our gathering at various events. These moments are filled with emotions and energy, showcasing our commitment to success together. Sometimes online, sometimes in place when the occasions allows that. Well, we have initiated several significant projects. Among this, we would showcase some of them. So the first one in which we have a virtual exchange within studies and virtual exchange as an extracurricular activities, led by Professor Mariana from North Macedonia. And well, so Professor Mariana Veneva initiated her virtual exchange activities during the pandemic by connecting her students with peers from universities in Poland and Morocco, so allowing them to collaborate on projects and conduct research together. which fostered a sense of community. So despite physical distance, the positive experience led to the publication of one student's article by Cambridge Scholar Publishing. In fall 2024, she expanded her virtual exchange effort by facilitating discussions between her students and those from a Mexican university on topics like music and food via WhatsApps, where students practiced English while learning about each other's cultures. In spring 2025, she proposed a language exchange program where Macedonian and Mexican students would meet weekly to practice their native languages with a supervision from both her and a colleague in Mexico. Engagement was encouraged through peers observation, allowing students to take ownership of their learning experience. The initiative was well received with all participants volunteering and contributing to collaborate learning a collaborative learning environment. And by the way, all of my colleagues are present in this summit. Also, we have another interesting experience or project. It's our work on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, which has united students from the United States, Brazil, Algeria, Honduras. This unique experience raised awareness of global issues such as education, climate change, justice, and inequality through discussion, videos, and online guest speakers. So a 4-week program combined synchronous and asynchronous activities, allowing for flexible, self-selected participation. This project successfully fostered global awareness and collaborative dialogue, filling a gap in participant regular studies. Participants evaluate the global connection through the program. The project demonstrates the potential of self-determined participation in promoting global connection and collaborative learning. The SDGs created a productive space for authentic dialogue framed within a sense of community. Another also program, it's an interesting initiative by Professor Luciana and Lynn, who are here with us. So emphasizes this role of virtual exchange in advancing internationalization practices for pre-services teacher, PST, while they remain in their local context, in line with the concept of internationalization at home, focusing on each week virtual exchange project in 2022 and 2023, involving PSTs from a state university in the US and Brazil. So this project reflects both professors and students' perspective, highlighting key desired outcomes such as improved interactional skills, enhanced information and communication technology, competencies, and greater intercultural communicative competence. However, challenges such as busy schedules, class format, and communication difficulties also emerge. So underscoring the need to address these issues for effective implementation of virtual exchange. We have also the another interesting initiative started since 2019 during the COVID, the pandemic period, in which we have embarked on a significant journey with the Global Environmental Program. This program, hosted by a global partner in education by East Carolina University, which connect us with the numerous institutions across Europe, North America, and South America. These initiatives allow students to engage with various environmental goals, including clean water, sanitation, affordable and clean energy, sustainable cities, climate action, and life below water and on land. So open to both undergraduate and graduate students from all academic disciplines. The program utilizes a digital platform that provides access to essential resources such as document, Zoom guides, SDGs glossaries, and communication tools like chat and forums. So the course runs from August to January, spans 9 weeks, and covers 3 sustainable development goals over 2 days per week. It began with discussion on local ecosystem and environmental context, enabling students to explore the relevance of the SDGs to their own countries. So through comparative studies and collaborative projects, they address global issues like waste management and energy conservation. So the program culminates in global virtual conference where students present their works to an international audience, enhancing their communication and English skills. GPA, or Global Partner in Education, also recognize outstanding institutions and instructors annually, fostering a culture of excellence and continuous improvement. As you can see here in this table, we have the number of students participate from 19 to 25. We have 3 publication, article publication. We have also 13 participation in global annual conference. And we have 1 award for excellence teaching. Well, and the last and the other initiative, if you want, but in this case, we talked about artificial intelligence. So in education, aims to facilitate a virtual exchange program during May and June 2025. So involving participants from different countries. This program focuses on both graduate and undergraduate teacher education program. So bringing together professors, students, and research from diverse cultural backgrounds to explore the integration of artificial intelligence in educational settings. The primary objective is to foster collaboration and knowledge sharing among participants, utilizing English as a lingua franca to bridge communication across different cultures. Through this initiative, participants will engage in discussion, workshops, and collaborative projects that examine the role of AI in enhancing teaching and learning process by sharing experience and insights. Educators can better understand the potential benefits and challenge of incorporating AI technology in their curricula. So this program was led by Professor Luciana and Professor Lee. Based in all that, we would like to highlight that we emphasize the significance of virtual exchange for global citizenship education. According to Dredoff 2020, global citizenship education aims to prepare individuals to act responsibly at both local and global levels. In this context, virtual exchange is a powerful tool for developing this GCE, fostering better understanding of local and global issues while enhancing a sense of responsibility in interconnected world. Promoting global citizenship involves creating democratic dialogue spaces where diverse perspectives can coexist. Virtual exchange facilitates this intercultural interaction, allowing us to learn not only about others, but also with them. So concerning the development of intercultural competence, it is clear that in an increasingly interconnected world, learning to interact respectfully with people from varied backgrounds is essential. So according to the draft, intercultural competences encompasses positive attitude, cultural knowledge, relational skills, and self-awareness. So virtual exchange serves a powerful lever for developing these competencies by facilitating interaction among participants from different cultures. And now here are some results of virtual exchange regarding our initiative, such raising awareness of the SDGs. Virtual exchange promote awareness of major issues related to the SDGs. They allow us to raise awareness of environmental issues, promote access to quality education, strengthens partnerships, and share knowledge. Through participation in virtual exchange, students learn to navigate with a critical mindset. For instance, they engage in global virtual conference, collaborative intercultural project. So this format encourages questioning sources, confronting diverse viewpoints, and evaluating the reliability of shared information. Also, as opportunity for students. Virtual exchange provide learners with numerous opportunities such as taking initiative in developing autonomy, working in group, and experiencing project dynamic, adopting different perspectives and understanding cultural norms, analyzing linguistic and cultural similarities and differences, exploring their own positives, and learning to respect those of others. In terms of impact on educators and faculty, so virtual exchange facilitate collaborating for teaching, research, and publications, opening doors to new co-constructed projects where each institution contributes its expertise. Participating in virtual exchange constitute a form of ongoing professional development by discovering differentiation teaching method and innovative tools. Educators refresh and update the practices. Virtual exchange encourages educators to dialogue with colleagues from various disciplines, nourishing creative and allowing for a multidisciplinary approach to challenges. So connecting with peers from around the world enables the formation of true virtual teams, expanding network beyond institutional boundaries, and fostering communities of practices. So the thoughtful use of digital tools should aim to bring people closer together rather than isolate them. Virtual exchange transform technology into a vehicle for warmth, empathy, and authentic interaction, placing human interaction at the heart of the process. In conclusion, virtual exchanges are based on the principle of learning by doing. So immersive and interactive activities engage participants, enhancing their commitment and retention of acquired skills. new and sometimes unsettling situations become stimulating challenges. It is a discomfort that critical reflection arises. Confronting the unknown pushes us to innovative and develop resilience. So virtual exchange allow for the practical application of interculturally and global citizenship. They create dialogue space where common goals, ideas, and interests can be identified from, forming the basis for negotiation and collaboration among partners from different cultures. By bringing together actors from around the world, virtual exchange establish a global context conducive to the development of collective solution. These tools foster engagement with sustainable development goals. So virtual exchange emerge as a powerful catalyst for learning, intercultural collaboration, and global citizenship on planetary scale. So we have here some of our joint publication with my teams. Among our initiatives in different journals, we have also participated in different events, international events, to showcase our results of our union, of our teams, collaborating together and showing our results and sharing our experiences. And those are the references of our publications and the resources for our initiatives. So thank you for your attention, and hopefully we will have time to discuss our funding later with our teams attending now this interesting event, and to respond to your questions. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Professor Benameur, for the exciting highlights about your projects. So may we give a round of applause to all our speakers. Okay, so thank you very much for for creating a very meaningful learning journey to the students. And you try to incorporate different kinds of the activities and then to bring the virtual exchange to be meaningful. So as we all know that we are facing some difficult challenge in putting the VE into practice. And now, may I open the floor for the Q&A sessions. So please feel free to share your questions. You can just to type it in the chat box, or you can raise up your virtual hands, and then we will name your name, and then you can raise up your questions. So while waiting the others to type the questions, so may I ask the first one? Because as all of the speakers have mentioned that we are facing of different kinds of the challenge, just like having the different time zones or having different power in between of the institutions. So how can we prepare our faculties and also the students when they are participating of this kind of the virtual exchange? Because some of our participants may be new to the virtual exchange. So what kind of advice will you give to the institutions when they just start to explore the virtual exchange initiatives? So could you mind to share about your experience? So how can we start? So may I have Dr. Maysa Abuzant.
Hi, yes. So I would suggest that they would have an open communication with the students, always listen to the students, tell them upfront about some of the challenges that they might face. For example, if there is a challenge in the time, for example, for us, we had to do some sessions on Friday, as my colleague has mentioned, and Friday is usually a day off for us, and we're not, it's like a Sunday. So it's our Sunday. So students are not expected to do any work on Friday. However, we've told them from the beginning, we were like, this is what this needs. And students were actually very committed. But you have to listen to their needs and to make sure that you give them some leeway. So they can, for example, skip a class, but they have to have an excuse or something. If they have something, they can do something else instead. And at the same time, don't just depend on synchronous communication with the students. You also have to have asynchronous communications, things that students can use on their own time as well to communicate with each other and to work on tiny projects and have a shared goal that they have to work towards the end. So that's it.
So then may I have a follow-up questions? So that from your experience, do you think that the students have different, may have some difference in their learning outcomes when they participate in the synchronized and also the non-synchronized activities? Because in Hong Kong, we are facing some of the problems because our students, particularly the Chinese, we are a little bit shy and then they are very quiet. And sometimes it is quite difficult to persuade them to have some speech with the foreigner in a synchronized session. So that sometimes they may just wait and then to look at you and then to wait for you to answer all those questions.
Yeah, Dr. Eva.
No, go ahead, Maysa. Go ahead.
I wanted to say that maybe, or what we depend on is trying to have very structured activities for students to engage during asynchronous sessions. And for example, when we start our virtual exchanges, we always have start like a week before. So we have students engage on their own a week before they officially meet during the synchronous session. So we give them like ice-breaking activity, something they have to share. For example, a view from my window activity that they have to share with their students, the view from their window and talk about it. This breaks the ice. So when they actually meet in person or meet virtually, they actually know a little bit about each other, so they're not intimidated. So small activities throughout the virtual exchange that would get them closer together would allow them to like get to know each other and to actually express their ideas. Dr. Eva has something to add on that as well.
Well, I strongly agree with what Maya says. We did a project. So I think cultural differences, because what you're talking about is a cultural difference. And some students are taught to speak up, like in the Netherlands, we are encouraged to speak up. What you say, is important. And if a student is shy and introverted, it's almost considered a problem as opposed to a characteristic. So it's on us, for example, in the more vocal countries, to develop listening skills and patience skills. And sometimes you need to make space and hold space for others to speak. And sometimes you need to encourage students to speak. But there's shy students everywhere, and there's outspoken students everywhere. But I strongly agree that doing activities that allow the students to get to know each other, maybe asynchronously, without it being so overwhelmingly challenging, exchanging pictures, exchanging stories, so that you become curious about each other. I did a project with students in Vietnam, and we did exchanging stories and pictures for a week. And then after a week, they did a first video chat. And even then, the students in Vietnam had the camera off for a while because they were so shy. And that is perfectly okay. Because that's also a possibility. It's perfectly okay to be that way. you know, we don't always have to be the same. It is good at some point because it helps with communication and understanding if you can see the face and the gestures. But you know, I think it's good to be different.
So that for the Hong Kong student, yeah. So may I
Yeah,
miss any?
sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, hi.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
should I give just my opinion for your question? Yeah, so I agree with my colleague. When we talk about motivation of students, it's a really it's very hard. I think it's one of the very hard option when we work in virtual actions. You know, I don't know why students are shy. Yeah, and but I think it's a question of time, and it's question of the environment, how you can motivate them to be engaged in your program. For example, such activities in Padlet, for example, or to talk about food, to talk about music, something interests them before, and allow them to know each other, because they are with the people for the first time, facing people outside for the first time. So this relation at the first time is very, very important. It's the first step before starting your program. Yeah, this is my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just a short word also. My university is engaged in two main projects under the umbrella of internationalization without leaving home or staying at home, more or less the idea. And we have two main projects. One is the COIL, the COIL courses. That's the main path. And the second one is the global hybrid classroom that I just presented. This is a more limited project because it is on the umbrella of the global MOOC Alliance that I just mentioned. And those are quite different in the way of administrating by the teacher, by the educator. While the global hybrid classroom, the main challenge is on virtual students because they are not in the classroom, they are in the screen, and it's quite different. Everybody knows about this. We have all had experience not being in a place and wanting to participate is not at all easy. So in that case, it is the teacher who has to provide the space to the opportunities that the virtual students may participate. We have a kind of advantage because in Mexico, students are very outspoken. They want to participate, but they have to have the opportunity and also to be listened as carefully as any opinion should. And the COIL system it provides the opportunity to form or to prepare small teams, 3 from each nationality, from each university. And in that case, it's easier to get them talking to each other because it is not in front of a full class, but just with 3 or 4 counterparts. And in our experience, it at first is difficult, but then it start moving. And even let me say, even with Chinese students that, as you just mentioned, they are quite shy and they don't like to ask open questions in the classroom. That what will be our experience at UNAM.
Okay. Thank you, Ward, for your insightful sharing about your experience. Because we are sometimes facing the problem is that even we have the ice-breaking sections for our students, and I ask them to share what kind of the Chinese food that you made, just like having the salted fish. I don't think that in the Western country they will eat the salted fish. And then we just ask them to share about your experience, how you can make a dishes, and then to make some sharing with the others. But they still find that it may be difficult for them to maybe due to the limited language abilities. They may not be able to express themselves, so that they try to hide themselves, and then they won't speak up. So that we just try to see what kind of the strategies that we can take to motivate all our students. Yeah, so that is some things that we are facing now. And then is there any questions from the floor? If no, may I ask the last questions? So, as we note, the virtual exchange program have a very great potential to not only to share the knowledge, but also to cultivate empathy and also compassion by connecting the students with a diverse backgrounds, and also enable them to share their perspective and also their lived experience. So, how can we strengthen this initiative in encouraging our students to have a deep, to listen deeply, and also to reflect on different viewpoints, and to make their learning to be meaningful in order to make an impact to our society or even the community. So how can we sustain it?
May I give a very quick comment? I think it's a very important question you're asking, and I think it starts with the design. If you don't design for it to happen, it will not happen. So it starts with very intentional, careful planning and designing and thinking about what will they collect, how will they get to know each other, how will we create safe space, how will they communicate, how can maybe translation tools help with communication, what will they do together, how will they collaborate, etc., etc. So you need to design for this to happen, otherwise it probably won't. But I'll leave it at that, and then I'm sure my colleagues have other ideas as well.
Okay, seems we're satisfied with your answer. And actually, yes, we need to start from a very small pieces first, and then to let the projects to grow, and then to let our students to grow also. So may I now conclude about these sections? Okay, so I would like to take a moment to thank all the speakers for sharing their invaluable insight and also the experience with us to date. And we also vary all your opportunities. So please help to fill out the feedback form, and also don't forget to leave your requests for the collaborations on our matching palette. So if you are interested to work with the other university or in Hong Kong, just try to leave your message in the palette. And I appreciate everyone for your participations, and your presence has contributed greatly to this successful of the summit. So we hope to see you again in at our future virtual exchange events. So goodbye and have a good day. Okay, bye-bye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye.